The influencer mocked my dirty shop, so I repo'd the supercar she borrowed for her photoshoot. She walked into my shop, looked around at the oil stains, the tools, the worn-out walls, and wrinkled her nose. "Wow, this place is kind of dirty," she said. Right before posing in front of the supercar she borrowed from me for her photoshoot, she posted the pictures, got thousands of likes, mocked my business in the captions. What she forgot, that car wasn't a prop, it was collateral, and I knew exactly where she was taking it. Welcome back to the channel. This one is about ego, image, and what happens when someone confuses kindness for weakness. But before we dive in, where are you watching from right now? Drop your country and city in the comments. I love seeing how far this community stretches across the world, and if you enjoy satisfying revenge stories, shocking twists, and moments where karma arrives in high definition, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Trust me, that photo shoot didn't end the way she expected. Tiffany had 5 million followers and zero respect. She rolled into my shop, Vantage Customs, in a $300,000 Italian supercar that she'd borrowed from a mystery benefactor. I was under a '69 Charger, covered in grease and sweat, when she started screaming that my shop was ruining her aesthetic. She called me a glorified grease monkey and told me to move my trash cars out of the frame so she could take a selfie. She thought I was just the hired help who didn't understand the luxury lifestyle. She didn't realize that I don't just fix these cars, I own the fleet. And that mystery benefactor she was bragging about? He's my lead salesman, and he forgot to tell her that the insurance on that car expires in 10 minutes. Tiffany is posing against a pristine Ferrari, holding a latte. She looks at my vintage project car and sneers. "Ugh, can you move this rusty junk?" Tiffany snapped, waving a manicured hand at my project. "I have a brand deal to film, and your hobby is making my feed look poor. Honestly, why are you even here? Go find a car wash to work at. Some of us are actually trying to build a brand." Focus. The moment the influencer realizes her status is a lease, and the mechanic reveals his true position. I wiped my hands on a rag and stood up. I didn't get angry. I just pulled a master key fob from my pocket, the kind that doesn't just start one car but controls the entire shop's security. "You're right, Tiffany," I said, leaning against the Ferrari. "Aesthetics are everything. But you know what isn't a good look? Grand Theft Auto. Because the person who authorized your loaner didn't check the GPS. You were supposed to be at a charity gala, not using my private workshop as a backdrop for your vitamin gummies." Tiffany's face went pale under her heavy makeup. "What are you talking about? I know the owner. He's a very close friend." "I'm the owner, Tiffany," I said, hitting a button on my tablet. The Ferrari's lights flashed and the engine died with a final digital chirp. "And I don't recall us being friends. I'm the grease monkey who built this engine. And since you think my shop is so dirty, I think it's time you found a new place to stand." Focus. The public humbling, the loss of the clout, and the mechanic's final word. "You can't do that!" Tiffany screamed, frantically hitting the door handle. "I have a shoot. My followers are waiting. Just turn it back on and I'll give you a shout-out. Do you know how much a tag from me is worth?" "About as much as this car is worth without the keys," I replied. "Zero. You spent so much time looking down on the help that you forgot the help is the one who keeps your world running. Security is coming to escort you off the property, and don't worry about the car. I'll have my trash truck tow it back to the showroom." The security team arrived. They didn't even look at her phone. They just blocked her light and pointed to the exit. Tiffany had to walk out of the shop, her high heels clicking on the gravel, carrying her ring light like a trophy of her own defeat. I went back to the Charger and picked up my wrench. People think wealth is about the shiny paint and the 5 million likes, but real power is knowing how the engine works and knowing when to pull the spark plugs. Tiffany wanted a poor free background for her video. I gave her exactly what she asked for. I just didn't tell her she'd be the one leaving. My shop might be dirty, but at least everything in here is real, especially the bill I'm sending her for the aesthetic inconvenience. The shop was filled with the smell of high-octane fuel and the sound of Tiffany's phone camera clicking every 2 seconds. She was leaning against the $300,000 Ferrari, pouting at her screen. I wiped the grease off my hands with a slow, deliberate rhythm and pulled a slim carbon fiber tablet out of my toolbox. "You're right, Tiffany," I said, walking toward her. "The lighting in here is a bit industrial. But there's one thing in this frame that doesn't belong, and it's not my project car." "Ugh, are you still talking?" she groaned, not looking up. "I told you, move your junk or I'm calling your boss. I'm sure he doesn't want his VIP clients being harassed by the cleaning crew." "That's the thing," I said, tapping a sequence into the tablet. "I'm the boss, and you're not a VIP client. You're a short-term promotional loan that just expired." I hit the red icon on the screen. Chirp chirp. The Ferrari's engine didn't just stop, the entire electrical system went dark. The dashboard screens went black, and the hydraulic suspension hissed as the car lowered itself to the ground, effectively locking it in place. Tiffany froze. "What did you do? I have a dinner at the Ivy in 20 minutes. Turn it back on." "I don't think so," I said, showing her the tablet screen. It displayed the car's GPS history and a big red stamp that read "Contract voided." "My lead salesman, Marcus, let you borrow this for a charity event across town. He didn't mention anything about bringing it to a private workshop to insult the owner. In my world, we call that misuse of assets." She looked at the car, then at my grease-stained jumpsuit, then at the $50,000 diagnostic equipment surrounding me. You own Vantage Customs, but you look like you live in a garage." "I own the garage, Tiffany. I own the cars, and right now, I own your transportation. If I were you, I'd start looking for a rideshare app, though I hear the basic tier doesn't have very good lighting for selfies." Tiffany's phone dropped to her side as the reality of the dead engine sank in. She looked at the shut-off Ferrari like it was a coffin. Wait, let's be reasonable," she said, her voice dropping the mean girl edge for a desperate, frantic pitch. "I'll give you a shout-out, a full story post. Vantage Customs, the only place I trust with my cars. That's worth 5 figures in marketing alone. You should be paying me for the exposure." I laughed, picking up a wrench and turning back to the '69 Charger. "Exposure doesn't pay for the overhead on a shop like this, Tiffany. And honestly, my clients don't want to see their cars on a fit check story. They want to see them on a podium at Pebble Beach. Your currency is worthless in a place where people actually build things." "You can't just leave me here," she shrieked, looking at the gravel road outside. "It's 2 miles to the main road. My shoes cost more than your rent." "Then you better start walking carefully," I said without looking back, because the tow truck is already pulling in, and they have strict orders not to let unauthorized personnel in the cab. Outside, the heavy roar of a flatbed filled the air. My shop foreman, Big Mike, hopped out and looked at the Ferrari, then at Tiffany's designer outfit. He didn't even blink. "The return to inventory order came through, boss. We hauling this back to the showroom?" "Yep," I called out. "And make sure to sanitize the interior. I think there's some aesthetic glitter on the seats." Tiffany watched as the winch started dragging the silent supercar onto the bed of the truck. She tried to film it, one last attempt at drama content, but as the truck pulled away, she realized there was no one left to witness her status, but the dust. She was alone in a garage in the middle of an industrial park, holding a ring light that wasn't even plugged in. I slid back under the Charger, the cool metal of the frame a welcome relief from the fake heat of the influencer world. I heard her high heels crunching on the gravel, fading away as she started the long trek to civilization. People think that having a brand makes you powerful. They forget that a brand is just a sticker on a box. If the box is empty, it doesn't matter how pretty the label is. I might be covered in grease and my shop might not be Instagrammable, but at the end of the day, I'm the one with the keys. And the view from under a classic V8 is a lot better than the view from a fake life. I've got work to do, real work.